The Canadian Card Collector here, and welcome back to day number 301 of a daily deck review. And the deck that we're taking a look at today is the Red Bucks playing cards from Fulton's and Dan and Dave. So, with no further ado, let's take a look and see what we get. Here we have the Bucks. Look, these are the second edition here in the standard glossy finish tuck box. And the way you can tell that's the second version of these is because of the deer here in the front. There, there it has two heads. The original ones only had one of the deer heads there on the front. So there's like the second version of these. One has the two deer heads there. And then you got that kind of gold metallic border going around. Then you got the deer here in the front with the two heads and that gold metallic with like the mountains out in the background. Then you got the white Bucks logo there. And the tuck box is completely red. So on one side it says a Dan. Oh, it says Dave Bucks playing cards. The other side says Dan Bucks playing cards. And on the bottom, you got some little corporate information in collaboration with. It says produced by Fulton playing our card in collaboration with Dan and Dave. Illustrated by Jeff Trish. Distributed by Dan and Dave. So like Fulton and Dan and Dave do a lot of decks together, and this just happens to be one of them. And made in the USA. Fulton's logo, Dan and Dave logo. On the back, I guess it's pretty much the same as the front of the tuck box. A little sneak peek of that back design. On the top of the tuck box it's just red, nothing there. The inner tuck flap is also just that red colorway. On the two inner tuck flaps, it says 11 and 06. Probably those might be for when the companies were made. So Dan and Dave might be from 2006 and Fulton's from 2011. Or I could be completely wrong. But now, if we take the cards out of the box, and now that we have all the cards out of the box, on the inside of the tuck box, it is just plain white. Nothing too crazy or fancy going on inside there. Now that we took a look at the tuck box, time to take a look at the cards. And first we'll start with that back design. Here we have a fully inked red back design. Fully inked red back design. It is also a one-way back design. It's got that little bit of gold kind of metallic ink there for a little border. Then you got the red border going around. Then you got the same deer there with the two heads and that gold metallic ink and the white Bucks logo there. And it is a one-way back design, so if you were to flip it over, the design would be upside down. Now for the cards you get with the deck. Here we start with the first Joker. It says Joker, Bucks, and you kind of got like a little red circle with a black outline there with the two deers there, the Bucks there, and that gold metallic ink. Then you got a second identical designed one, but then you got a black and white. Like the deers are black and white instead, so everything else is the same, just the deers are black and white on this one, and the deers are gold on this one. Then you kind of got a little extra card here, more of a little art card with the Fulton and Dan and Dave logo. And it's more of like a hand-drawn kind of like picture there, of like a forest with a deer there. Back design on the back, and then you get a blank face. Then we get to the custom Ace of Spades, which is pretty standard spade there. You got the big spade there with a little bit of a design to it, black and white design, made in the USA there. And then the rest of the cards in the deck are just pretty standard. So now we've all seen this, so I'll just quickly go through. The court cards are also fully standard colorway. So all the cards are just pretty much just a standard deck of cards, but with a custom back design. Now that we took a look at the cards, time to test the handling. And these are fully inked on the back design. The back design is fully inked, so the corners could chip a little bit, but these have been used a little bit here and there, not like overly crazy. But you can kind of see like a little bit, like the edges, a little bit of whitening to them, but nothing overly crazy. But if you use them a lot, and they could chip a lot, like you can lightly see it there, that they're turning a little bit white. But with lighter inked decks, like they won't show up as easy compared to like dark browns and blacks there, which would show up a little bit more. But first we'll start with the springs. And I gotta say, these spring fantastic. They have a great flex to them. Like they would be nice and easy to flex, like spring for anyone. There's not too much stiffness to them, which is pretty nice. So pretty springy cards, and they're a little bit slippery. And it's been a while in a deck review. Now it feels like that I dropped a card. So we'll just quickly pick those up. Quick little there. There, we'll pick those up there real quick. And now we'll get on to the fans. Well, as you can see, they spread pretty decently. Not like 100% perfect. Because these cards have been used a little bit. Nothing like overly crazy though. And it could be like the temperature in the room too. Like sometimes the temperatures don't help the cards fan that good either. But they still spread pretty good. There, you can see most of the pips and most of the numbers. No real stickiness or clumpiness to the cards. Pretty smooth. Now time for the Pharaoh. Super smooth Pharaoh there. Now for that giant fan of the back design. And now for that reverse Pharaoh. And those interlock pretty much the same as the other way. Now for a giant fan of the faces. And now time for the riffle shovel or bridge shovel. And this is the part of the video where that one-way back sign will get all mixed up. Well, I gotta say, these riffle shovel and bridge shovel, like flawlessly, like fantastic, super smooth. No issues with the riffle shovels or bridge shovels. They're super smooth every single time. And I want to a few packet cuts. I'm gonna say pretty normal, average packet cutability. Not overly slippery, but not overly packy at the same time, which is pretty nice. And now time for that one-handed cut or Chevalier cut. And now time for the dribble. And I gotta say, the dribbles feel pretty smooth. They're nice and dribbly. No issues with the dribbles. Now on to that spread fan. And lastly, spread the cards on the table. Well, I gotta say, Art of Play, not Art of Play, Fulton's and Dane and Dave have made a pretty, great, minimalistic, simple deck. So pretty much the only custom part of the deck is that back design, which is a one-way back design. I'm not always a huge fan of one-way back designs, but when there's a nice one-way back design like this, I can't help but like it. So it's actually a pretty nice one-way back design there. You got that fully red back design, or background there, with a little bit of gold metallic ink, with the white Bucks font there, the logo there, which is nice, it stands out there. So super simplistic yet elegant back design. And the faces are just fully standard. You got the custom jokers. The only actual custom card in the deck is this little kind of ad card here. But other than that, pretty standard and standard faces. But like I always say, sometimes standard's nice because you don't always need fully crazy custom faces. Like a nice simplistic custom back design is all you need sometimes. So having custom faces is not always needed, but it's always nice to see custom faces from here time to time. But overall, fantastic design, the back design. Yeah, overly, yeah. And then for that handling, you got the fantastic handling. Found no real issues, no major issues. All pretty smooth overall. They're pretty smooth. No stickiness to them really. Maybe the fans a little bit, just because they have been a little bit used in the past here and there. Or it could be the temperature of the room, because it has been the weather's been a little bit warmer lately. So that makes the cards a little bit more stickier from time to time. But they still handle fantastic, nonetheless. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. This has been the Bucks, version 2 playing cards from Fulton's and Dan and Dave, and this has been day number 301 of a daily deck review, and I'm the Canadian Card Collector, signing out. That's the video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye!